This is a real story from the days of the Second World War. There was a Japanese diplomat, Sugihara, posted in Lithuania. One morning, he heard a lot of noise coming from somewhere outside the embassy. And when he looked out of the window, he found that thousands of people had collected there. He made some inquiry about who these people were. And he was told that they were all Jews and they had escaped from Germany. And they thought that Japan would be one place where they would be safe. So they all wanted visas for going to Japan. Now, issuing thousands of visas all at once is a major decision. And therefore, this person sent a message to his country asking for guidance. And those days, the communication was primarily through telex messages. And so he sent a telex message asking what he should do. And as expected, the reply came no visas. Second message, the same reply. Third message, the same reply. Now, as an employee of the Japanese government, it was his duty to follow the orders. So that was his official duty. But somewhere deep within, he felt that if I don't give visas to these people, they are likely to die. And here I have an opportunity to save these people. So he wanted to give the visas. So, ignoring what he had been told by the higher officials in his country, he started issuing visas. Issued so many visas that all the forms or properly printed forms for the visa, they were finished. And then when this somehow managed to reach his country that this is what he was doing, he was called back. And as he was going out and leaving the country, people followed him because many had still not got the visas. And he carried with him a large number of blank sheets, which he started signing in the hope that they would be honored as visas. And the result was that he did manage to save thousands of Jews. Now, that was nice that he managed to save all of them. But all the same, when he reached his country, he faced the music. Well, that's another story. But here, we find that this person had a conflict between two duties: the official duty to follow the instructions and not to give the visas, and the moral duty to give the visas. Now, how did he decide? He decided on the basis of the voice of his psychic being, or the deepest part of the self, or we might say the voice of the soul or the inner voice. And that is what told him that the right thing to do would be to issue the visas. And once we decide to follow that voice, we also acquire the courage to do so. And that happens because this voice is not only all knowing, being the divine essence and the divine knows all. This voice has total knowledge, it knows everything. Not only it knows everything, it can also do everything. It's all powerful, like the divine. And therefore, if we decide to pay heed to this voice, to act upon this voice, we also acquire, because of this all powerful character of the divine, we acquire the courage to do it. And that's how he gathered the courage to do it. And one can also anticipate the consequences. He knew that if he does not issue the visas, he'll feel guilty and he will feel uneasy again and again. He'll develop this recurrent uneasiness which may follow him to his deathbed. Oh, that day I had an opportunity to save these people, and somehow I didn't pick up the courage to do so. So, this is the type of conflict that Arjun also faced in the Gita, whether to fight the war or not to fight the war. On one hand, it was his duty to fight the war so that he could defend good from evil, he could defend justice from injustice. So, not for his own sake, but for the sake of this general good, it was his duty to fight that war. On the other hand, he didn't want to kill so many people, particularly his kith and kin. And that's why he sought Sri Krishna's advice. And what advice did he get? Finally, the advice that he got was do what Sri Krishna wanted him to do. In other words, do what the divine tells you to do. Sri Krishna was an incarnation of the divine. So, those who of us, and most of us are like that, we don't have the good fortune of having Sri Krishna in front of us in flesh and blood, but then we have the Krishna within. The Krishna within is our soul. And the soul is not a static entity, it has a dynamic aspect, and it is this dynamic aspect which Sri Aurobindo and the mother have called the psychic being. And it is this aspect of the soul, this dynamic aspect of the soul, which issues, which speaks, and we feel it as this inner voice which tells us in no unmistakable terms what the right thing to do is. And when we decide to listen to it, we also acquire the courage to do it. Thank you.